We'll see if there's any hope in Yuka's business bulletin now. She is talking about the UK becoming the first European nation to join a major Indo-Pacific trading bloc, Yuka.
Well, Stuart, it's been hailed as the biggest trade deal for the UK since Brexit, which the government says could boost its economy by £2 billion a year in the long run. As of Sunday, the UK has become the 12th member of the CPTPP, or Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. Existing members include Australia, Japan and Vietnam, as well as Canada, Mexico and Chile. Membership allows UK businesses to face lower tariffs and fewer trade barriers when selling to economies within the bloc, with the financial services, manufacturing and food and drink sector set to benefit the most.
So how significant then is the CPTPP?
Well, it is one of the world's largest trading blocs with combined GDP of more than 14 trillion euros, or about 15% of the global economy. It covers a total population of more than 500 million. And after several stumbling blocks, it has been in effect since 2018, lowering trade barriers between member states on a variety of goods. Initially, the pact was to include the US, signed under the Obama administration, but Donald Trump pulled the US out of the deal before it took effect. A new version of the deal was revived by the remaining members, retaining most of the provisions. And the UK is the first new member since it went into effect, though it was negotiated and signed under the previous Conservative government.
Now, the Pacific Trade Pact initially aimed to create an economic counterweight to China's influence in the region, but Beijing also applying for membership now.
Yeah, China submitted its formal application to join the CPTPP in 2021, but it has yet to join. Existing members have raised concerns about Beijing's ability to comply with reforms needed for accession, including on intellectual property and labour rights. Some doubt whether China really has an economic interest to join the bloc at all.
Something new now. France has a new Prime Minister. Still no budget, though.
Well, centrist François Bayrou, the new Prime Minister, has to form a new government yet, and a battle over efforts to reduce France's debt is set to continue for weeks and months. Lawmakers, though, are set to begin debating an emergency budget bill this afternoon, a stopgap measure aimed at ensuring that the public sector continues to function. The previous government was toppled earlier this month after trying to force a 2025 budget bill through Parliament without a vote. The text, which was announced as an austerity plan by the opposition. Brian Quinn has the latest.
The fight over France's spending plans drags on. With Michel Barnier toppled as the shortest-serving prime minister of the modern era, his 2025 austerity budget is dead in the water. Far-right leader Marine Le Pen hasn't ruled out a similar fate for his successor François Bayrou.
Let's not jump to no confidence votes immediately, but I'm not ruling out the use of this tool.
To avoid a US-style government shutdown, the French Constitution allows for the previous year's budget to be carried over into the new year. On Monday, lawmakers are taking up debate on just such a special bill. With its passage, the salaries of civil servants, public pensions, and healthcare would all continue to be paid. Even the stopgap plan, though, is the subject of dispute. A majority of MPs had wanted it to index tax brackets to inflation to avoid taxpayers being kicked into higher brackets. That measure, along with new assistance for French farmers, will likely have to wait for a new session of the National Assembly in January. Meanwhile, François Bayrou faces the same hurdles that brought down his predecessor. France's budget deficit is projected to top 6% of GDP this year, more than twice the EU limit of 3%. Barnier's budget had aimed for 60 billion euros in savings, as investors have grown increasingly worried about the country's fiscal health. On Friday, the ratings agency Moody's downgraded France's credit rating over the country's political fragmentation. The legislative battle over a new budget for 2025 is expected to rage for months.
That first debate starting at about 4 p.m. here in Paris.
Thank you very much.
That's it for business for now.
Yuka with Business on France 24. Straight to the press review.